Hi everyone, it's Craig again. I just thought I'd do a little video and speak about stuttering and stammer. Uh, First of all, before I do that, I have a list here of all things I want to talk about. Um, but obviously, just a little insight. When I was young, I suffered a lot of trauma. I was part of CSE, that's child sexual exploitation. I was sexually abused by both males and females when I was a child. I'm okay speaking about this and talking about this. When I went to have my 2 years of psychodynamic therapy, we spoke a lot about my childhood traumas, what happened, how it affected me in my life. My childhood and what happened to me actually helped me become the person I am today. Not about the bad things that happened, but how I was able to turn it into, turn a positive into a, turn a negative into a positive and be a better person. And it's how I was able to go out and hopefully help a lot of young people that I have done in my 19-year career in social care. Now, whilst I was doing this psychodynamic therapy, I was stated that I had PTSD and also that I had what's known as passive attachment disorder, which basically means that I can talk about things, I can talk about my history, my life experience, so I can talk about it in depth, but the emotion of that isn't there, because if it was, I'd probably be a wreck. Whilst obviously going through a lot of courses at work and obviously looking after young people who have gone through similar things, doing the courses on safeguarding young people or sexual exploitation, things like that, I obviously knew my own experiences whilst taking those courses, and yes, I found it rather hard listening to it and understanding it on a young person's view, which I already knew, but also how to help others. I found that I was able to block out all my emotions, which I think helps us in social care to be able to work with others, have empathy for the young people that we look after. So anyway, I just thought I'd like to talk about that initially, because it kind of links in with what I'm going to talk about today, and that's my stutter, my stammer, and obviously anybody else who has a stutter and stammer. There's a lot of research that actually states that a person who stutters and stammers, it comes from having a traumatic time when you're very little, either a baby or in infancy. Mine may be due to my childhood trauma and the sexual abuse that I suffered as a child. One being when I was very young, my mum's partner at the time made me have oral sex with him, and then he peed all over me. I don't know if that is where it all stems from. One of her babysitters at the time, a female, also sexually abused me and was subsequently sent to a prison, I believe. At the time, I think I was about 3 years old. However, I think that this may have resolved in why I stutter and stammer. I did used to be a lot worse as a child. a hell of a lot worse. And obviously, as the years have passed, I've been able to kind of adapt, overcome, and learn to be myself. I do stutter. This is me, and I am what you get. I'm going to go through with my paperwork. I've got some stories and a few jokes in here as well, which aren't actually jokes. They're actual things that happen, but I kind of find them a bit funny. And I hope you guys do too as well. Right. As I grew up, I didn't know any different. I was the kid in school who stuttered. Everybody used to ridicule me, bully me, all the way throughout my childhood. I even got a lot of beatings because of my stuttering as well. I remember when I was in infant junior school, one of the teachers, I made me stand up in class, and we was reading a book called Eric the Viking, a very old book, and basically he made me stand up in front of class. He made me read on a daily basis, and all the children ridiculed me, laughed, so did he, and I believe he did it for his own entertainment, really. I obviously felt embarrassed. I felt awful speaking, talking, and it had a massive impact on my life, actually, because throughout my whole life until recently, I never really felt the urge or the courage to read a book. I didn't actually like doing it. And even now, if I read a book, if I read it in silence, I find myself in my head trying to stutter. Because if you read it in your mind, you don't stutter, which is weird. And obviously, it kind of infuriates me a little bit because I'm trying to stutter in my mind. So sometimes I read it out loud so that I stutter, because that's me. Due to this teacher ridiculing me at such a young age, I remember he did it one day and he was laughing, the whole class was laughing. I took the book on the floor, I went over and I punched this teacher in the face. Now, I'm not condoning any violence whatsoever, but I believe that was justified. I found, obviously, growing up, fitting in and making friends initially was quite difficult. I found it hard in social situations and gatherings, and especially in public speaking. It's very hard to do public speaking if you stutter. I've kind of overcome that as I've gone into adulthood, which I may speak about later. But obviously I did find it very difficult to kind of make new friends, speak to girls, find a girlfriend, for instance. I was very embarrassed, very shy at times. I didn't speak in case they thought I was weird or strange. But that's how it was back in those days, back in the 80s, early 90s. I remember when I was in senior school, I was again ridiculed for my stutter and my stammer, and one teacher, anybody who's out there that went to my school will know who I'm talking about. He ran the horticultural part of the school. We had a farm on the school, agriculture, I think it is, not horticulture. We had pigs and sheep and goats and all sorts of animals and an allotment. Every time I went into class, he used to read the the register out. Bearing in mind he knew that I stuttered, he used to read people's names out, I don't know, Joe Bloggs, Mary Blige or whatever. And then he come to me, and obviously my name's Craig Clements, as everybody knows. He used to turn around and he used to go, right, and I used to raise my hand and go, "Here, sir." That obviously got to me initially. Everybody thought it was funny. Everybody kind of ridiculed me at the start. However, as time passed, I kind of started to be me and feel that, you know, stuttering is me. I then started, when people was ridiculing me, I used to kind of do a bit of reverse psychology really, and I used to take the mick out myself. I used to speak like that on purpose to kind of make people laugh, so that it would stop them ridiculing me because I'm doing it myself. This had a bit of an impact going through the last couple of years of school, because a lot of people stopped ridiculing me, stopped taking the mick, realised who I was, helped me a lot as well, and a lot of that actually really stopped. A lot of bullying especially. I did find, excuse me as I turn the page, I did find that I was able to make more friends, and obviously students started to accept me for who I was, and they actually respected me, I believe. I'm still in touch with a lot of the, a few of the people from school. I recently went out on a school reunion, which I really enjoy, and I try and get out as much as when I can. They're really good friends in my eyes, and it's really nice to be able to speak to old school friends from time to time. I did miss a lot of school. This was due to my mum keeping me off, making me do house chores, looking after my siblings, looking after her, and this had a big impact on my grades at school. I was predicted quite reasonable, good grades, but unfortunately, I didn't achieve them. I believe in the fourth year, I believe I had 100 and something days off school, which is nearly, I would say, probably 2/3 of the year. Obviously, people at school didn't realise on what I was going through or how it was affecting me. Obviously, I was going through a lot of things to do with sexual exploitation and things like that, and coming to terms with what I'd gone through. But it did have an impact on my marks, but I eventually thought after I left school I needed to be a better person, which I'll speak about in a moment. I remember whilst at school and just before I left, I was asked to go to a speech therapist, where I was asked to do all these different techniques to try and stop my stuttering. But whilst there, I had a bit of an epiphany, and that was that I am who I am. I am the person who stutters. Stuttering is me. And if people can't understand and accept me for who I am, then they're not worth knowing. So I decided that I wasn't going to go to speech therapy anymore. I just wanted to be me. So I left. I obviously eventually left school. I went to college in Derby. And whilst there, obviously, I met my ex-wife, and she actually did an English project on me stuttering, which was really good and insightful. And on that, she actually got top grades for her work. Anyway, after college, I started working for social care in 2000. A lot of the young people that I worked with along the way used to ask me, why do you stutter? What is stuttering? I used to say to them that stuttering is my brain working faster than I can get the words out, so it kind of jams all the muscles in your cheekbones and around your jaw. So you're trying to get the words out, but it's just jamming a little bit. Kind of made them laugh a little bit, and I got a bit of ridicule, but I was okay. I actually found I got a lot of respect off the young people that I've always worked with, and I still do to this day. I just like to go through some of the kind of experience that I still get today. I'm 42 years old and I still get comments from people. Bear with me, past that here. Such as things like, are you on your mobile? You're breaking up. No, I'm on a landline. Well, it's a bit crackly, I can't hear you properly. Usually, if I tell a person that I stutter on the phone, they're usually apologetic, say, I'm really sorry, I didn't know. Sometimes I get, I can't hear you properly. Is it your signal? As if I walk round with a bloody antenna attached to my head going, Nanu, Nanu, Nanu. I don't think so. The worst I get is when I'm on the phone and I'm speaking to somebody and they say, I'm really sorry, I can't understand you, I'm going to have to pass you on to somebody else. Now that is damn rude, and you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You need to have the time and respect to speak to somebody who stutters or stammers and let them explain or speak on the phone, no matter how long it takes. So, you know, there's certain jobs that I won't be able to do, possibly. One being a telephony, being in a call centre. Somebody rings up, I don't know, wanting information on how to repair a Dyson, for instance. They ring up, hello sir, I need your help. I'm on the other line going, how can I help you, sir? I think the conversation will take all day. I don't think it's a really good job for me. But, you know, there is other jobs I can do without being on telephone. I remember once, while I was working in social care, I was in a residential home, and I was taking a young person to school. Taxi came outside the home to pick us up, and yeah, to be at school, to go to school. We got in the car, the child got in the back, I got in the front. The taxi driver looked at me and he says, where do you want to go? I didn't speak in case he thought I was taking the mick. That was quite funny. I did speak eventually, and the conversation lasted a while. But it's things like that I'm able to kind of joke about, and it is quite funny at times. Other times it's not. Say for instance, if I'm having a game of golf, I hit the ball, it's heading to somebody, I go flipping, now it's hitting on the head. Oh dear. So I did used to like golf, but I don't play now because of my back and my spinal condition. However, I have found it useful to be a bit harsh on others when people have been taking the mick out of me, and taking the mick, you stuttering barstool or whatever, or just going, yes, this stutter up. And I used to come with comments like, hey mate, I may stutter, but your wife knows that I'm better in bed than you are. And they look at me and go, hey, what are you on about? And I'll say, well, I last longer in bed than you. And that's just something that I've had to kind of deal with to kind of overcome idiots who take the mick out of people who stutter. Just to kind of finish off a little bit, really, for the general public that's actually out there, if you are speaking to somebody who stutters or stammers, please do not finish their sentences or their words. It irritates us to hell. Just be patient and let the person get the words out. We do stutter, you'll know that, and you'll get used to it. And when people stutter and they're nervous, you stutter more. When you're relaxed, you kind of mellow out a bit, and it isn't kind of noticeable. So even though sometimes it's hard and it's difficult trying to say what's on your mind for anybody out there who does stutters, even interacting with other people, in social gatherings or society, never give up, keep on going, stay strong, and just be yourself. Thank you all for listening. If anybody is able to post and share and subscribe, please feel free to do so. This is my second video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll speak about other things to do with my differently abled disabilities self another day. Okay, thank you all for listening. Bye.